PWP Nation,
where wrestling discussion lives.
Well, hello there. Dukes, Keith, and Griff here from the Anything But Credible podcast, a.k.a. the ABC Pod. Fellas?
Holla.
Oh, hello.
We're here to let you know that you could be possibly missing out on the best podcast ever created, aside from the Offended podcast, of course, and you don't want to be missing that. Now, what makes us the best? Griff? Yeah, great. Keith? Exactly. Look, I'll keep it really simple for you. Crazy people, crazy news, crazy theories, crazy uncredible. That's right. We made that word up. Griff, Keith, say something crazy for me.
Russia wants you to believe in Finland.
Real.
Nice. Look, you can find us just about anywhere that you get your podcast, especially Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to hit us up on Facebook at ABC Pod. That's ABC POD. Twitter at _ABC Pod. And Instagram at ABC Podcast. Check in with us for a new episode every Monday and join the conspiracy to commit stupid. We will see you then, and shout out to the Offended Podcast.
Adios.
Later, guys. Like you more than a friend.
What's up, everybody? Kyle Fauché here to tell you about my brand new podcast, the Going Off Topic podcast, brought to you by the Anything But Credible Network. On Going Off Topic, I look at all forms of media, from different real and theoretical angles that you don't usually hear about. From movies, to TV, to music, to sports, to gaming, to anything really. You never know what the topic will be, but you're guaranteed a new angle and a different conversation about it, that's for sure. You can find Going Off Topic anywhere and everywhere that you get your podcasts. Check out our social media feeds on Facebook, Going Off Topic with Kyle Fauché, on Twitter, going_off_topic, and don't forget about anythingbutcredible.com, where you can find everything for the pod, including the written blog post. That's right, we're carrying over the Going Off Topic blog to anythingbutcredible.com too. So check it all out there, and I'll catch you on the next topic.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Hockey Talks is back, baby! Presented by PWP Nation's Offended. It's Tricky alongside Corey. And Stoutsy.
When the fuck did I become third fiddle?
Because you're not
Yeah,
here.
bro.
You're not here. I'm going around the table right now.
You gotta be within the vicinity to get the fucking spot skis.
Fuck that.
Well, sucks.
That's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful. Well, anyway, we're back. We're back. Hockey Talks has returned. This is our first Hockey Talks in like 2 or 3 months. We're back.
Yeah, probably since like October.
Just a quick ad lib on that introduction you had. It was beautiful, but I do hope no children are listening to this podcast because
I hope they are.
My ferocity towards the Blues has been building for quite some time now, so we're about to do some hardcore venting here.
And anybody who listens to this podcast knows this is a very St. Louis Blues heavy show. We'll definitely majority of the show is definitely going to be ranting on the Blues, and I'm going to be bringing up the fucking bullshit of the media side too, and fucking like ESPN. Jim, did you notice this today? By the way, when I called out what's his name, which we'll get into in a little bit, I called him out and I said, "Oh, don't act like you're not like the Blues aren't sponsoring you or anything, stuff like that." And then they have Tom Stillman on today. It's like, yeah, exactly. You're not going to fucking tell it how it is.
Right. Yeah.
It's laughable. But before
plus
we
it's ESPN. ESPN's been the laughing stock of sports world for the last fucking.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I used to call them the TMZ of sports, and then TMZ came out with their own fucking sports channel. And I think we've already discussed this in the past too, but one day I was flipping back and forth between the two, and they had like the same 6 stories in a row, and none of them had anything to do with fucking sports.
Was it just what LeBron ate?
Yeah,
and
what he
shit and, like,
tweeted.
shit that morning?
What he tweeted.
LeBron shit 2 times this morning.
Right.
Anyways, it's
yeah, my boy
basketball
Jim
season's
shit
been
40
over for
times
3
in one
months.
day.
What'd you say, Jim?
I said, yeah, but my boy Jim shit 40 times in one day.
Yo, Jim, that's another good point too. You should, like I always say, yep.
Hey.
Lessons, not losses, bro. You could get most shits in a day.
Hey, yeah, Jim, before we, get started here, let's fill in the hockey listeners. What's going on with you? Why are you not here?
For the last,
why you not in the cockpit?
Probably since like last July, I've been dealing with a little disease called ulcerative colitis. basically you just shit and throw up everything you have nonstop whenever it feels like it. Sometimes you're just laying down. You got 5 seconds to get to the bathroom. Most of the time you get there. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like you're dying. Sometimes you feel like you're dying.
And that stems from the base disease of pussyitis.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
Yeah, so basically I have been locked up in my house for like weeks, and
we miss you, bud.
We do miss you.
I think I lost my mind like a week ago, dude. I legit think I like lost my fucking mind. I didn't go like psycho, but like nothing made sense. Like what day it like. I honestly thought it was like December still the other week, and I was just like, man. And now I think I've adapted to that. So like I think right now I think I'm mentally normal, but I'm not.
You're actually lost.
Yeah, dude. So it's kind of nuts, kind of cool.
And the Blues aren't helping with this mental issue too.
Monday Night Raw isn't helping.
This is like the perfect. This is like the perfect analogy of the two. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you gotta go into the dark a little bit so you can appreciate the light. You know.
The only time
Blues were supposed to be killing it. Jim was supposed to not be shitting every 30 seconds.
Yeah. The only time I've left my house is to literally like I run up to the gas station and I buy 2 rolls of chew to last me, so I don't ever have to leave. So I don't have to like leave the house of the risk of like having to shit in my car.
This may be a dumb question, but considering your ailment, isn't chew maybe not like the best choice for you, given it's like a natural laxative?
Let's think about it. For like 10 years,
that's what's
I got
causing
this
it this whole time.
I got this. No, dude, it's caramelized onions. We went over this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, let's be honest. I was diagnosed with this 10 years ago, and I was throwing down Burnett's vodka like it was fucking my day job.
It is true.
So,
it is true. You have not helped the condition, but I mean, who can really judge there? Excuse the pun, but what a shit time to be diagnosed.
I mean, fuck, the last time Jim and I went out, we did like 5 shots in like 20 minutes. Like,
that's pretty much par for the course.
Yeah.
Multiply that by over half of our lives, and
shit.
Yeah.
No pun intended. That's why I have not been in the cockpit studios or been out to watch any hockey.
Or to my New Year's Eve party. Or to Kansas City.
Or to
I was home alone. That was kind of weird. Yeah, dude.
Jim's been missing life.
Or just plain simple hang out with us.
Yeah. I think I just need to start writing a book.
You should.
So
Jim's memoirs.
You better be careful, dude, because like we just talked about earlier, you might like turn super PC with all this lack of actual human interaction. You're going to become like a fucking keyboard warrior.
Yeah, I guess, man. But you know what?
So you stepped up his Twitter game, at least.
If it gets me to the top,
that's the first step.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you get to the pot of gold as long as you beat the leprechaun. Stewie Griffin.
All right. Before we get started, make sure to go listen to our podcast, Offended, which is on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, and wherever you get your podcasts. It's everywhere. So if you have a hard time finding it, that's on you. If you listen to it on Apple Podcasts, I will say you have to search PWP Nation Network. That's the way you find us on Apple Podcasts. Kind of a little loop to jump through, but it's right there as well. But everywhere else you search Offended, we pop right up. So yeah, we got that going. Make sure to go buy our t-shirt at www.prowrestlingtees.com and search Offended. Again, we come right up that way. All right, before we get into our Blues rant, because I have a feeling that's what the majority of this episode's going to be on, does anybody want to bring up anything of like what they've seen like around the league, or like anything that's like stood out to them in terms of, because this is kind of like, we're kind of to the halfway point, which I didn't realize. I was listening to Spittin' Chicklets the other day, and I didn't realize that we're there because the Blues.
We're already talking about the All-Star game.
Yeah, and fuck.
Having no one fucking in it.
Well, we got
Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay.
There's one thing I kind of want to bring up that not even we've like discussed. I think it's kind of flown under the radar. Is, do you remember in the beginning of the year the Golden Knights were not doing very well, and everybody's like, "Nope, see, man, that was just a one lucky year." Golden Knights are tied for first in their division.
Yeah, they've turned it on.
58 points, and they're actually. Hold on, let me double check. I think they're tied for second in the NHL for the best record.
Who is even saying that? Everybody knows about the cup hangover. That's just natural.
Yeah,
right.
Or lose.
But they're
usually,
second
like,
in the NHL right now.
Well,
but
yeah. I mean, fuck.
Well, with the cup hangover,
we're almost halfway through the season.
A cup hangover, you'd see them floating probably 4th, 5th in their division right now. But probably still make a playoff push. But right, like they're not getting hyped up about, which I think is good. That they kind of started off slow and got out of the spotlight. That just takes a lot of pressure off those guys. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're just fucking being the Golden Knights, and they're just playing young kids, and they're just fucking playing hockey, and I fucking love them. They got big 7'5" Revo chucking nucks like a mother.
Chucking nucks a McLeod, and then also fucking brewing a beer while he's at it.
Putting biscuits in baskets.
What also is the most impressive about thing is we got to think about the locality, like the way that they've just all. I mean, dude, you got fucking young super athletes in Vegas, fucking nightly. And I get that, they're pros, but they've been putting off that nightlife partying pretty solidly as well, I would say.
Well, it's like what Reeves said, if you can't play hungover in the NHL, then
I was
you
just
going
to say maybe that, though. They're adopting the old school technique of just fucking sucking it up.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So what does Reva go out and do? He goes out and makes his own beer.
No shit. I'm going out to Vegas here in a couple weeks, and I can't wait to try that shit.
Is it only in Vegas?
I think right now, yeah. I think
you
so.
You would think
I'm
with his connections
positive.
to St. Louis especially.
It was supposed to be at Center Ice Brewery. That was the whole point. Center Ice Brewery was supposed to be doing it, and then he got traded to Pittsburgh.
Why would he still keep doing it?
What?
They still have they still have a Ryan Reeves beer there that I think he helped kind of create, but it wasn't like his own thing.
He was supposed to open his own brewery here in St. Louis.
See, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah. He was supposed to open that, but with Center Ice Brewery, like, kind of helping him do it to start. And that was what it was supposed to be.
Like consulting.
Yeah. And then he got traded, and then never, like, he still wanted to do it. Apparently he was almost getting ready to open one in Pittsburgh, and then he got traded to Vegas, and then he was just like, fuck it, Vegas has got, like, it's where I'm going to be.
Best
like,
market.
Yeah. Can you blame him?
All right.
So, yeah.
Dig that.
But with that, I have to shout out Gritty from the other night. Gritty, the mascot for the Flyers, fucking grabbing that Blues fan's hat and fucking just throwing it.
His mannerisms when he does things just are so, like, he threw it so aggressively, just like,
yeah. Dude, fucking naked lady. I showed her that video and she just goes, "That's your fucking Spirit mascot, without a doubt." Like, yeah, it is.
Dude, they've certainly capitalized on, like, talking about no publicity is bad publicity. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if, because, I say, like, with a lot of these commercials and shit nowadays, I'm like, how the fuck do kids go through so much college to make that shit? But Gritty seems like, just like, all so perfectly planned.
Right.
I want to feel like it just went terribly wrong and they were able to just fucking grab the reins and right the ship. But it almost seems like they just got, like, they created such a shit mascot.
Do you think they did it on purpose?
Yeah, to get the publicity of it, and then they just turned that into the gimmick itself.
Possibly, because I think, like, well, honestly, like, to me, it seems like they thought this was a good thing when they first put it out. I think they genuinely thought that this was a fucking good, like, thing.
Right.
And everybody just ripped on it. And when they started ripping on it, that's when I think the mind started moving, the wheels started turning, and just, like, they were like, let's fucking capitalize on this. Make him just a big dickhead now.
Right.
I think they were going to make him like, hey, just be like, the cool, fun, lovable mascot. And it was like, okay, you need to turn into, like, a complete psychopath.
Yeah, and he totally has.
And props to that Blues fan for being a good sport about it.
No shit.
Like, I love my hats, and I hate when I'm, like, out and fucking people, like, take my hat off or fucking some shit. I'm like, don't touch my fucking hat.
He got hooked up.
Yeah, the Blues organization on Twitter, Blues tweeted the guy out. He's like, hey, let's find this guy. We owe him a new hat. So the Blues were going to give him, like, a new hat off of it. So it's kind of like, it's pretty cool because the guy got his hat back. You can't throw has anybody really tried to throw a hat? Unless you, like, swing it like a fucking frisbee, it's not going far.
Right.
Like,
unless it's a fedora, you're not getting that thing.
Again,
one fedora per group. That's
all comes back to the same topic, really. Though, is like, was it all just manufactured? how much of this was organic.
Yeah.
You know? Because these fuckers that they obviously had on that
struck fucking
have got
gold
to be like, it almost just seems to me like they had to intentionally be that out of touch. Because, like, they made just, like, a fucking, it looks like a Muppet character that got scratched off the roster.
He looks like Animal's dad, who is just like a runaway parent and like just got all fucked up on cocaine from
He's like
Laterra.
The Randy Marsh of fucking mascots.
Like the baseball episode in South Park.
Yeah, exactly. He's the overzealous dad of mascots.
I really like the gritty Muppet. Like, he was the last cut for the Muppets.
Yeah, bro. He's like, he almost made it. And then
like the guy Hollywood, and then finally just like doesn't make anything and like breaks down and does drugs and stuff.
Yeah, and then he was supplied from Yuri Laterra, and there you go.
Yeah.
Dude, they should honestly make like a short film like before he was gritty.
Oh, we should do a mock film 30 for 30.
We should make him Oscar the Grouch's like illegitimate son.
No, you gotta do Animal. He looks like Animal.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, maybe we could like combine the two.
Yeah, like a 30.
He's just got an Oscar the Grouchy vibe to him as well. You know, like grew up in a trash can. By the way, while we're on this topic, just a real quick tangent. Did you see that they're making, I think they already made the first like Sesame Street homeless one.
Yeah,
they're like, am I nothing to you?
Yeah, the best, and that was like what I thought right away too. I was like, wait, I thought Oscar the Grouch was fucking homeless. That's why he's always grouchy.
That was the
Animal. Yeah,
I cried at that meme for like 2 days.
The Oscar the Grouch one.
I mean, that's Animal is totally Gritty's
So
kid.
Todd just showed me this. It's Animal with a fucking chain on, playing the drums, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's essentially what we're looking at here is like the Tommy Lee of Muppets, or the Muppet version of Tommy Lee. So he could definitely have an illegitimate son.
Big dick Muppet.
He's a pretty
over
lanky fella as well. Yeah, they're usually stacked. Yeah, he's definitely, he could drive a
or
boat with that
is that
thing.
just Gritty, and Gritty just let himself go after a couple of years? He's like, I'm a mascot of a hockey team now, and I'm playing drums anymore.
That one said Gritty dies at 66 or some shit. So it's definitely a son. This is illegitimate son he had with a fucking Muppet groupie.
Oh god, that's we really need to make like a 30
What
for
a
30.
conversation.
Yeah, we can make a solid storyline.
I love this conversation we just came up with about Gritty.
Yeah,
and
well, he's got to have a backstory.
I love that the big play of the NHL for the teams now is like, if you know your team's going to shit or they're having a shitty year, get a crazy mascot or get a puppy.
Yeah.
Fine.
I will tell you, let's bring it back to that too. Our fucking mascot luckily just went under the radar because he's just so dull. But like, what do we got? Like a fucking polar bear? What's his name?
Yeah, Louis.
Louis. Dig the name, I guess, but like,
Actually, like,
I don't know, man. We could have done some cool.
see,
shit.
like Louis is kind of sarcastic, and that's why I like Louis. Like Louis's always been kind of like he's kind of been like a little bit of a dick.
Polar bear. Where does that come from?
I have no idea. The fans voted on it.
Yeah, see that I don't.
What they should have made his whole gimmick like he's a smooth jazz like player, like he keeps it cool, like he's smooth.
Or I was thinking more like an ex heroin addict jazz player, like a real blues musician.
Yeah.
Well,
really just in the fucking gutter.
The thing that's funny is that Louis was kind of known as like the sarcastic mascot of the NHL, but like the lovable guy at the same time. Gritty just took that, times it by 11, and he's like, I don't want anybody to love me. Fuck you. Like,
Yo, the no fucks given attitude. That's where it's at.
And then nobody gives a fuck about Louis.
Gritty told Vince McMahon, "Fuck you! I'm leaving this company. I'm going to AEW, and I'm turning myself up to 11. I'm making myself a superstar, baby." That's what he did.
Oh shit! Any surprise? So let's get away from the Gritty talk for a second. Any surprises from you guys in terms of the NHL this year besides like Vegas?
Well, no surprise on my part, just because I'm, just such a fucking Jim Stout of a Blues fan at this point. For those who don't know, that means incredibly pessimistic. But I just really find it almost poetically ironic that the one team that's below us is the fucking Blackhawks. Like, of course, when we're doing this shitty is when they're doing this shitty. Mm-hmm. It's just like, yeah, it makes total sense to me. Yep. So that would be my one surprise. I expected the Blackhawks to not be great, but I didn't expect them to be worse than this.
I feel like I should stop you because the Blackhawks are actually now 2 points ahead of us.
Well, see, there you go. But the fact that they're even in the conversation with how shitty we are this year almost makes it hurt twice as bad.
But the Blackhawks are 2 games ahead of us with 5 games played more than us.
Yeah,
wow.
So they'll probably...
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But they're experiencing the same fucking year as us after winning like a bajillion Stanley Cups in the past fucking decade. So it's way more understandable. And
before we get into like a huge Blues conversation, that's the one thing that I feel like that's in the Blues' favor are their games played. Like we are tied with the Islanders and the Panthers for the least amount of games played. And luckily, we don't have to worry about the Islanders and Panthers because they're in the Eastern Conference. And what's crazy to me is if we would have beaten the Stars last night, we would have been within 5 points of a wild card spot.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, that's hard to believe.
Well, I mean, dude, you're supposed to fucking make the playoffs in the NHL, too. There's a reason we had a 25-year fucking streak.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we get into the Blues, I will say my surprise for me has been the Flames. Flames are fucking, like, just
say it.
tearing it up.
They're
dude.
hot.
They're hot.
They're
on fire. They're on fire right now. They have 58 points.
Fucking Johnny. They got Johnny Hockey, man.
Johnny Hockey, man. What a fucking stud. 58 points. They're tied with the Golden Knights for second in the NHL. Tampa Bay Lightning are the number 1 team in the NHL right now at 68 points. They're fucking on fire. Lightning are on fire right now. I'd like it too. Right behind the Lightning, though, is a team that I think I predicted. I have to find we have the sheet somewhere. The Maple Leafs, 56 points. Maple Leafs just fucking tearing it up. The Buffalo Sabres have finally come down back to earth here a little bit.
Shout out Jeff fucking Skinner, everybody. I told you we should have got him.
No doubt. But
motherfuckers.
Carter Hutton's riding a 6-game losing streak, I think, right now, unless he won last night, which I'm not positive on. But, it's just the Sabres are totally coming down back to earth. And I don't want to say, like, I love it because, like, I'm not trying to rag on, like, anybody's, like, fan base here. But in terms of, like, these Blues fans saying that Carter Hutton was a god, that's where I'm loving it. Like... You get what I mean when I say that?
I mean, the guy's still playing. He's still playing good. I think they're going to pick it back up. It's like when the Blues have, like, except for this year, when they have their mid-season shitstorm and then they turn it on. I think Buffalo's going to turn it back on.
Yeah, but to a point where it's like these St. Louis fans saying that Carter Hutton would be doing better than Allen this year, and, like, maybe he would be, but it's like at the same time we're still like our team's not scoring goals. Like, we're not playing offense. We're not playing defense. Like, we'd still be in the same spot no matter what. Here's the thing that it blows my mind. We'd still be in the same spot no matter what goalie we have. Like, we could have fucking Carey Price in our net, and we still would be in the same spot.
Yeah, for surely. Just what I got to earlier, which is literally the fundamentals of fucking crashing nets and clearing nets, which doesn't exist right now. So,
another team that's kind of been surprising right now is the Montreal Canadiens have actually really turned it on, and they have 51 points. They're right behind the Sabres, the Bruins, and the Maple Leafs in that fucking Atlantic Division. And you never know it, man. When the team catches fire in the NHL like this, they could just keep riding that hot streak. I mean, we watched how many teams do it before and get to that Stanley Cup, but, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. Aside from the Blues, who have been, like, the biggest disappointment, I think, in the NHL right now?
I would say, well, I'm going to add one more to, like, a surprise team that's doing well. The Islanders. I think their playoff is going to, if they make the playoffs, it's going to come down to, like, the last 2 weeks of hockey for them. I just think they're a good team. Shout out Scotty Mayfield, played with them back in the day, doing well. But I think the Islanders are another surprise. But bad teams that I'm kind of surprised. maybe I'm not so much surprised with this, but the Devils, I thought they
that's what I was gonna say.
I thought they would not be doing this bad. I thought they'd kind of almost be like the Islanders, like kind of in the middle there, like competing. But they've, I don't know. I mean, I guess Taylor Hall really was a huge difference maker.
Yeah.
Last year with, not that he's probably having a bad year or anything, but yeah, I'd say them and.
Excuse me. Shit.
I guess, I don't know. I want to say Edmonton, but I don't know. That fucking organization just has so many goddamn issues. I hope Connor McDavid gets traded for the sake of him.
No shit.
That guy can only do so fucking much.
Oh, yeah, it sucks to see him on a losing team like this because he should be...
Yeah, and he'd give away every fucking goddamn award he's already won to just fucking be on a team that's going to make the playoffs every year. Because playoff hockey with Connor McDavid would be the most fun thing to fucking watch.
Oh, yeah. And, like, the thing that it's, like, laughable is the thing that we talk about here, like, for Blues fans. It's like you need to build a team around, like, their all-star. And I think Edmonton probably has, aside from Doug Armstrong, I think has probably the worst GM in the National Hockey League. Just how has he not like comprehended that you can't keep having the same style of player on like every line, and like the defense is atrocious, like their goaltending's like there's just so much that's wrong with Edmonton that there shouldn't be when you have a guy with like Connor McDavid, and even like Draisaitl is like a fucking great player.
Yeah, well, they had a top 5 draft pick for fucking like 12 years in a row. I'm exaggerating there, but like, fucking Christ, you should have. They were just drafting the best of the best, but not. It's like, I hate to sound like Herb Brooks, but it's like, yeah, you're not looking for the best players. You want the right players, and it's like, yeah, you got a couple best players, but you need to like draft some guys that are just as good, but are going to fit into your system.
Well, exactly. And it's like you draft all these players. They ended up getting McDavid out of like everything, and that was kind of like the luck of the draw, I think, with the lottery drafts. I don't even think they weren't supposed to get McDavid that year, were they? Were they the last place team the year that they drafted him?
I can't remember. I don't think so. I
don't think they were either. And I think that's what people were pissed about. It's like they won the draft lottery like 3 years in a row, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is fucking stupid. But when they were drafting these players, they're drafting these players in the same style. They're drafting the same like skill set style of players. When you put that all together on a hockey team, that doesn't spread out to a team. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all the same players. So like when you're playing defense against that team, it's gonna be very easy to play defense against because they all play the exact same.
Yeah, I mean they drafted Taylor Hall, and they drafted Nugent Hopkins, and they drafted
Eberle,
and Connor McDavid, and it's like
Yakupov. Remember that guy?
And Yakupov. So it's like you can't fucking 2010, 2011, 2012 they had the first overall pick.
Crazy.
Every year.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And I also want to shout out as a surprise this year teams that are over 500. The Carolina Hurricanes and New York Islanders. They're a team they're like a sleeper. Like, you got to watch out for them. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what I was saying about the Islanders. I think it's going to come down to them. Their last like couple weeks of hockey, they're going to be right there in that fucking playoff push because they're if they get hot, they can stay hot. But
I'm looking at the Oilers right now. The Oilers, man, like, they're right there in the thick of things in that Pacific Division, man. The Pacific Division, like, you had the Flames and Golden Knights. Sharks have turned it on, like, at the beginning of the year. That's another team that's kind of like in the same way the Golden Knights, where they were kind of losing. Everyone's like, oh, God, like, here they are. They're supposed to be great. And now the Sharks have actually have 57 points, 25, 13, and 7. I mean, that's a fucking great record.
It helps that Carlson found his groove with them.
Oh yeah, and people were like, "Why isn't he finding that groove?" It's like it's gonna take him a little while, Joe. It's like all these people expecting AEW to just have a TV deal right off the bat, and they should be on TV right this second. It's like, well, that TV deals take like a year to like actually come to fruition, but whatever. Another team, the the Arizona Coyotes started off like really hot, but they kind of come back down to earth They have only 39 points.
Yeah.
Like they were streaking there for a minute, and then all of a sudden it was just like, there they are.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, they're not close to being a playoff team yet. They're building. They're going to get there. But
yeah.
Once they move to Houston, they will.
Yeah. Fuck. And real quick, last thing before we get into the Blues. How about that the rookie for the Vancouver Canucks, eh?
Oh, good old Pedersen,
baby.
That boy can play hockey, man.
Yep.
He's good. That guy can just fucking flat out play. They're just letting him play too. Yeah.
Did he just get hurt like a couple nights ago?
Something like that. I think he took a. Oh man, I think he got tangled up pretty bad or something.
Yeah, something happened, and then like. Did you see there was a fucking article about how it's open season on these like All-Stars, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Like it was a complete accident. Like it wasn't like a targeted like.
Oh god, when he got tangled up with the guy, God, everybody's like, oh, what a cheap play. I'm like, it's a penalty because he like grabbed him, which wasn't like cheap. It's just kind of like a desperation play. Mm-hmm. But then they both kind of just like fell and got tangled up. Like, and I think I tweeted out, I was like, no player in hockey's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to take this guy down and put him in a fucking calf crusher.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, calf crusher.
Like, you stupid fucks. Like, Jesus Christ,
fucking,
get a brain.
AJ Styles out there putting him in a fucking calf crusher.
Yeah, I'm like, God, you people are. I can't even argue with hockey people on Twitter anymore. I'm just like, you're all so goddamn uneducated and stupid, you inbred pieces of shit.
All right. Well, let's get into it. I know it's going to be a decent conversation. Let's get into the St. Louis Blues. There we go. Just right off the bat, I mean, where do you want to start? Do you want me to start with my rant? Where do we want to start?
I feel like whoever starts will be all right.
Where do you start?
No shit. I have a specific rant that I want to like get off my chest here because I think it's just so like wake up, St. Louis, like kind of like in a way, especially like towards the fan base, and that is like in the way of that. I'm trying to put this in like the best way possible because I don't want to come off sounding like a fucking arrogant douchebag, and I know it's gonna come off sounding that way, so I'm just gonna accept it no matter what. I've been getting an inside source for the Blues for the past, like, close to maybe since July now. So it's been for a while. And the source I've been getting has been very correct. He has never been wrong. And we got the news. We broke the news first. Offended broke the news first. Not a big deal. Shout out Ryan Whitney. We broke the news first for the All-Star game coming to the Enterprise Center in St. Louis for 2020.
This is true.
We broke it the day before everything else got put out. And what I find fucking hilarious is that when we broke the news the very next day, J.P. Rutherford was the one that, I'm doing air quotes, broke the news. And I find that hilarious only because when we broke the news, we had like a couple people tag Rutherford in our tweets. And it's just laughable to me because it's like he never responded to these tweets. Never responded. Jim, you and I even went at him. I think even Clodius like went at him and was saying like, but offended broke it first. Offended, we did all this. We broke it first. Blah blah blah. I wouldn't really care necessarily because I know that we did it. We have proof that we did it. The thing that bothers me is that J.P. Rutherford is just gonna ignore it, and it's like, dude, you're not a celebrity. You know you see this shit. We broke it on a non-game day. You're telling me that you get thousands of tweets and we just get pushed you get pushed away. No, you're ignoring it on purpose because you work for The Athletic. And that's your job to figure out this shit and break it. That's like, you know what I mean? And
yeah, bro, we're jocking his steez.
Yeah, and
that's his whole niche.
I find that hilarious that like he never responded once to even our personal Twitter accounts. He never responded. It's like, dude, you do not get that much traffic towards you on like a 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. non-game day, there's no way you get that many tweets towards you. So, like, we broke the news, you saw it, and you capitalized off it, and then you started asking around. That's totally what happened. And it's hilarious to me. We broke the news, and I love it. That's a notch in our back, no big deal. Like, that's our pat on our back. Like, I'll take that. And I've gotten some other news that I'm not gonna break on here. I'm not gonna fucking say on here. I will if a certain somebody on the Blues gets traded. That was the okay. That was for me to, like, shoot the shit out. With all the behind-the-scenes drama that's going on with the Blues.
You gonna break the trade or what?
No, I'm not. So, within us breaking that news, that guy texted me, and he's like, you just pissed off a shitload of beat writers in St. Louis for the Blues. And I'm like, good, fuck them. Like, I don't care. Like, we're doing our own thing here. We're doing, like, we want to become, like, a thing for the Blues, like, in some way. Like, we want to be recognized as, like, credible, like, podcasters, I guess you want to say. Like, fuck it. Like, whatever. What I find hilarious is that after he sent those text messages, everything that I post, like, on Facebook now, Randy Carricker has to respond and fucking stick up for the Blues, stick up for the management, stick up for every little thing.
To you directly?
To me directly. Oh, dude, every time I post about the Blues, man, he's there being like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, all right, Randy. Like,
yeah, that's pretty legit, though.
Backstory, I used to work at ESPN 101. I know Randy Carricker, but, like, he's never responded on my shit before. Like, he's responded maybe, like, to, like, one thing, like, in years past. And I worked there 3 or 4 years ago now. And I just fucking think it's hilarious that all of a sudden now he has to, like, comment on every single one of my posts since we broke the news about the All-Star game. So I made a Facebook status the other day that said Doug Armstrong is an idiot, and that's when we sent down Jordan Schmaltz, which blows my mind that no NHL team picked him up. Like, that's a What's that?
I said, yeah, same.
Like, that's a prospect, like, I think, like, a team, like, would love to have. I'm surprised Chicago didn't pick him up just so he could play with his brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
That makes the most sense to me. But, yeah, maybe nobody didn't want him. That's fine. But I said Doug Armstrong is still an idiot for these moves that he's made, because with Doug Armstrong, it's always 1 step forward, 3 steps back. It's always a positive step forward and then 3 or 2 steps back. It's never...
Yeah, it's like your boyfriend buying you flowers after he cheated on you 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's never, like, it's never been easy with Doug Armstrong. Like, yeah, we made these trades. Like, Shen looks great. O'Reilly looks great. But then you see these other moves, and it's like these no movement clauses, these no trade clauses. And I was the biggest supporter of Jake Allen, and man, I think those days are over. Like, I can't, but it's like all this stuff. I was going back and forth with Randy Carricker for literally like an hour, responding back and forth. He's responding immediately. Like, I'm responding immediately. Like, it's going back and forth for like an hour. I finally just get, like, kind of pissed. And I call him out in all the behind-the-scenes drama. Call it all out. I put it all out there. He doesn't respond for 3 hours. Because he was kind of... To me, it was like, shit, we've been kind of caught.
Right.
I'm like, why is the media not covering the real side of the story? Like, why is only these players getting... Like, why are only these certain amount of players getting called out? Why is Pietrangelo not getting shit on? Why is Steen not getting shit on?
That.
Why is Doug Armstrong not getting shit on? This is bullshit. What's going on with all this other... And there was so many other things that I called out. Randy Carricker, 3 hours later, responds with, if there was any truth to these rumors, we'd be glad to report on them, but you're just spitting out rumors and stuff that I've never heard before. And I'm like, that is the most scripted fucking response I've ever heard in my life. Like, those words that was said back doesn't even sound like Randy Carricker. Like, that's my point. No. Like, it was such a PR, like, HR was like, you need to say this. Like,
right, he was waiting for the approval.
Yeah, exactly. And so I respond back with, oh, so basically you're telling me ESPN doesn't want a PR fiasco on their hands. And he like said the same thing back. He said the same thing back. And then like, of course, you get all these people, they're going to believe him because he's on ESPN, you know?
Right.
Like the people who don't really like follow hockey that much or like, you know, follow hockey closely, they're not going to fucking like believe me. And I understand that. That's fine. But like, when I call you out and you wait 3 hours to respond, and it's just like, you get that response back, it's like, oh, you fucking totally know.
Yeah,
you fucking totally know.
Time.
And not to mention, ESPN sponsors ESPN 101 in St. Louis, and the Blues have a partnership right now. Like, they sponsor the Blues, and vice versa. And, of course, he's not going to fucking call out everything that's wrong and all this bullshit in the locker room. Because guess what? ESPN 101 is owned by Hubbard Radio. Hubbard Radio also owns The Point. Hey, who from The Point works for the Blues directly and is a major thing and who is a major person during the home games? Jim, do you want to answer that one?
Is it Mr. Tony Patrico?
That is correct.
Mr. Patrico?
Exactly. They're all connected. They all work for the same country. If you want to think that they're not on the Blues payroll, you're out of your fucking mind. Like,
right.
It all connects. And then who was on the show for ESPN 101 today? Oh, that would be the owner, Tom Stillman.
Yeah.
Guys, St. Louis fans, wake up. Like, you cannot listen to what the media is spewing to you at all. Like, they are so being told what to say. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. And then I'm keeping my mouth shut on the rest of the shit going on behind the scenes. But I promise you, if Vladimir Tarasenko gets traded, I will spill everything. And I don't give a fuck what happens. Like,
I'm going to go ahead and say off of just my pure pessimism and no connections to anyone, I truly think he's going to get traded.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. And they're gonna trade him, and they're gonna
throwing away him and fucking O'Reilly. Sorry, Joe.
and they're gonna get like two, maybe three guys that are gonna be like second, third line players that are gonna get told to change their fucking style to what we play, and nothing's gonna fucking change.
Yep. And yeah, I just like even the source. The guy that I get shit from, he was like, the only way I would want you to go public with all this shit is if Tarasenko gets traded, because it is completely asinine and it's completely bullshit what's going on right now. And it's so true. Where's the media bashing Pietrangelo? Where is that? That blows my mind.
Not allowed to, because he's the fucking captain. He's Mr. Bullshit. Nice Guy and Mr. fucking... I'm just going to say the right fucking things every time I get interviewed.
No, he's such a douchebag. Like, when Binnington got that shutout the other night, Pietrangelo made it all about him.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
that's his whole fucking MO, though.
Hey, and honestly, let's this goes further back to how the Blues want their media to act. I know Kelly Chase probably left kind of off the radio to do his own thing. He wanted to take other adventures. But the Blues did not like that the fact on the radio, he would rip into that fucking team any chance he got when they weren't fucking playing hockey the way they should. He would tear down Pietrangelo. He'd tear down all the guys that the Blues don't want people talking down about, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I think he got pushed off the radio. I think he got pushed off the radio because he was too honest about how the fucking team was. And that just shows how much the Blues, to Todd's point, the Blues are controlling the media and what they say about this team and whatnot.
Exactly. And Jim, he didn't step away. He was asked to step away. That is totally true. Like, he was asked to step down.
Yeah, because I remember I'd listen on the radio sometimes, and it's like he just would tear into the way they were playing, and he'd tear into our captains and stuff.
Yeah. Why
and the Blues didn't fucking like that. He was the only one that did it, and that's why I fucking love that man till I fucking die, because he fucking tells it how it is. He'd go on Twitter and he'd blast on the Blues, and they didn't fucking like it. And it's like, dude, it's not like it's bringing bad publicity. It's just fucking it's
bringing
good
truth.
It's bringing truth to what the fuck's going on with this goddamn team.
It's laughable to me because all this media bullshit and like that. What Randy Carricker said to me on my post on Facebook, that was it. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. That was like the confirmation. That was like, that's so fucking. I'm correct. Like that's all I needed.
he's a dumbass. He works with that fucking Bernie Miklasz, who he reports on baseball, and he's about as dumb as they fucking come out of a dick.
Again, it's all basically like we were just talking about.
And
everything gets fucking approved before it goes out.
I do want to say this real quick. I do want to say this. My time working at ESPN was fun, and Randy Karraker was always down to earth with me. He's a nice guy. Like, he is, without a doubt, a nice guy. However, I just disagree with everything that he says about hockey. When it comes to hockey, it's like, you can tell you just never played the game of hockey. You can't just sit back and fucking spew all this bullshit when you've never played the game before. Like, I don't care that you're a fucking writer and you watch every bit of hockey and you go to all these games and you've watched the Blues since like they've been born. I don't care about that. I care. I'm going to listen to somebody who has played the game. Like, and this is exactly why Barstool Sports is so popular right now, because they are sitting there and they don't hold back on like what's really happening. They're getting athletes that played for every sport, and they'll just come and be like, this is bullshit, they're wrong, like, that's not what's happening. Like, that's why Barstool is so popular, because they're not afraid to, like, piss off these, like...
They're uninhibited.
Exactly.
For sure.
And it's like, this is why, like, Spittin' Chicklets is so popular, too, because it's like, they'll fucking tell you straight up how it is, and just be like, I don't think they're, like, playing good hockey, like, I'm not going to hold back, like... And that's why that shit is so popular, and that's why that type of, like... sports like media works, because the public is just sick and tired of this bullshit media. Like, you know what I like? You get
it's
what
like,
I mean,
Todd, dude. It's like Vince McMahon treating us fans like we don't know, like we're dumb.
Yeah,
that's how the media is to like sports fans now. It's like, no, we're just gonna act like you're dumb. It's like, no, man, like we like you can't act like we're dumb in a day of social media where there's just so much that gets exposed and what actually could be going on. Like, you can't sit there and lie to us for fucking 8 months of a season and be like, well, you know, things are kind of no. It's like, no, there's fucking bigger issues in a locker room or fucking off the ice that are going on that's affecting the goddamn team. You can't just you can't just ignore that. It's part of the game. You can't ignore it, and that's what they do.
Also, let's not forget that there's a fucking captain, because the game of hockey polices itself, so that goes back to the locker room as well. Mm-hmm. And all of those fucking egos and all of that testosterone is supposed to be controlled by someone who's revered and respected by the rest of the fucking team. And he usually gets that respect by leading by example, which is obviously not what fucking Pietrangelo does by any means.
No, not at all.
I mean, he never even gets into a fucking fight.
Well, I think it's fucking hilarious that, like, we go from probably one of the greatest captains in Blues history to this.
Right.
To this guy. Like,
right.
Pietrangelo isn't on the level of Bacchus and Pronger and all these...
Near. He's got no heart.
And Hull, and the list goes on.
And when Tarasenko is in the fucking creases and in the corners and literally getting in scraps... And that's your most skilled player, given before O'Reilly came. But, I mean, same concept applies. It's like you're supposed to know that guy, you know, is a fucking integral part of your team and your success.
You don't build around him.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
and here's the thing.
It all comes back to that. Reeves not Reeves. Oh, fuck, sorry, Reeves. Petrie, he's just got no fucking heart.
No, I mean,
no offense.
It's like when that good old fucking Randy was commenting like, well, here's all the Blues captains. They don't, you know, they were tough guys, but how about Ovechkin? He doesn't in there fighting. I'm like, Ovechkin plays a hard game. Here's the thing, I could, if you take away Bacchus getting out there and chucking knucks, every shift he was going hard.
Yep.
And whether it was playing the body or getting in corners, that's what we need. That's what you want out of a captain. That's what Crosby does. That's what Ovechkin does. That's what fucking, as much as I hated the guy, Dustin Brown did. That's what a lot of...
But see, here's the most important part to that. Like, I get what you're saying about getting gritty and you don't have to throw hands, but also everybody fucking respected the shit out of Backus in the locker room.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what I was going to get into, is that, like, when David Backus went out there, and he went out there every shift playing hard, the guys see that. They notice that. After Backus has a hell of a grinding shift, whether he scores or not, you're like, all right, I'm going to follow that up. And then when Backus brings that same energy into the locker room, you follow that. And Petro doesn't. Petro doesn't do anything on the ice that I think fires up his team. Like, all right, yep, oh man, see that shift Petro had? I want to get out there and I want to have that shift. And then, or in the locker room, he doesn't have any intensity to him.
No.
He looks like a fucking goddamn a pencil stick that fucking got picked last in kickball and fucking had lunch with the fucking recess monitor or some shit.
But it's so funny that you bring it up, the Randy Carricker comment, because that was another post that he commented on, because I made a status that said Pietrangelo needs to grow some fucking balls, because that's when he was getting dogged by fucking Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals, and that's when Carricker's like, not every captain needs to fight. It's not about fighting. When Tom Wilson's literally punking you out,
right,
making you look like a bitch, and you're the captain of the fucking team,
right,
and you're not going to do anything until the referee skates over and then you smack him in the face, you look like a fucking pussy. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And again, that all comes back to the main point being that, which is, I don't want to get too deep into it, but exactly why I can't stand anybody who fucking argues against fighting in the league. But the reason the captains are so fucking important in the NHL above any other sport, and why you see that being played out, like, you know, and every time a captain's chosen, it's a big fucking deal over basically any other sport, is because it's a game that polices itself. Mm-hmm. So that dude's the fucking sheriff of the team, and everybody's going to follow his lead. But if he's got no fucking passion, then obviously, and then we've heard all of the little, you know, again, never heard anything in the fucking actual media, but everybody who knows anybody has heard about little tiffs going on, you know. I kind of have my own little source as well there, Todd. And you hear about, like, locker room shit and the fucking players not talking to each other. When we had Hitch, it was the same way. They were getting all cliquey, and the fucking, like, young guys were versing the old guys, and it's like, Pietrangelo, you're supposed to be fucking handling that.
Which some of it's true, some of it's not true, and, like, so far what I've gotten from my source, everything has been correct. Like, everything has been correct. And I kind of, like, went on a limb. I didn't know if everything was correct. And I just went ahead and fucking posted about the All-Star game coming here. I was like, I'm going to jump on it. If we're wrong, we're wrong. And I'll just delete the tweet. Like, whatever.
Well, when you texted us that, too, I was, like, looking at work.
There was nothing.
And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's just bullshitting right now? So, yeah, that was pretty impressive, man.
So I just wanted to jump, and I was like, fuck it. If we jump on it, we look like we're the first people to report on it. And that's what I want, and that's what I wanted to do. And kind of like the same situation with the AEW news. Like, I saw something that was, like, deep in, like, fucking wrestling media, and I went ahead and jumped on it. I didn't know if it was going to be true or not. Like, and sure enough, like, it just worked out, and it's like, it's been true. But the stuff from the Blues that I'm getting the source from, it's all been true. Like, he said who was coming here, who wasn't coming here, and, like, it's all been fucking true. Like, everything's been true. He said, get ready for Berglund to be shipped out in the summer. Gone. Get ready for, what was the fucking accusation that we made over the summer? It wasn't O'Reilly. I want to say it was Bozak.
Jim.
Oh yeah, the Bozak trade. Oh no, I don't think we even traded him. I think we just picked him up out of free agency.
Yeah, he said Bozak was coming here. We ended up signing him like 2 days later. Oh, Maroon. It was Maroon.
Oh,
Maroon was the one that was like was coming here, but like at the same time, I think I even have a status that like a lot of the media was saying that Maroon's going to be signed today, and he wasn't. Everybody was waiting. I made a Facebook status. It's like by Monday or Tuesday, Maroon's going to be signed. He's signed on that Tuesday. Like, and it's just like, he's never been wrong. Like, it just blows my mind because it's like, how he's getting this information is like, I mean, I know how he's getting the information, but it's, I don't know.
The accuracy is pretty solid.
The accuracy has been 100%. I can't say anything else. Like, it's been 100%. And so to like, it just makes me mad, and it makes me, it actually, like, it doesn't, like, make me, like, angry. it makes me a little mad, but it makes me just more disappointed and like just sad that like the media, and especially Randy, hearing it from Randy, was just like, God damn, like you're not gonna fucking tell the truth on this, and it's bullshit. And
you're
like
an upset parent.
Yeah,
like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
But it's like to a point where it's like fans have been through so much as being a Blues fan.
Fucking A.
We just want fucking truth, and know what's going on behind the scenes is just like, man, it just makes me just so. It's made me so unmotivated to like cheer on this team, and it's just I've been nothing but negative about this team like in the past like couple months now with finding some of this stuff out.
I'm with you,
and it's just like, I don't know. It's hard. Like, I have season tickets, and it's hard for me to like fucking want to go to a game because I just know how everything is, and it's like nothing is going to change until these few players leave the team and maybe the general manager. Like,
for sure. I mean, I will tell you straight up, I've been to 4 games this season, and I'm truly not like hyperbolizing when I say that it was 4 of the worst hockey games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like we're losing. Like, straight up, when they decide to quit playing, it's like fucking embarrassing to be in the Enterprise. Like, it's fucking terrible.
What's funny to me is that like a lot of these fans want to bash like Tarasenko or like Shen or somebody like that, and it's like, or Maroon even, for example, and it's like kind of like, you know, did you ever stop and think for like 1 second that like maybe they stopped playing because they're fed up with the management and the leadership of this team?
Yep.
Right.
And it's like, and what's funny to me, who's all involved in these trade talks right now? The people that are going against the management and the leadership of this team.
Right.
They're trying to ship them out, and they're trying to pin it on these guys, acting like they're the problem, when in reality, it's far from that, and it's actually the complete opposite. Your problem, your 2 biggest cancers in that locker room, I'm just going to straight up, fuck it, I'm like getting angry now. I'm just going to straight up tell you, Steen and Pietrangelo, your 2 biggest cancers in that locker room.
And saying Pietrangelo from day one.
Steen's a 35-year-old. I'll give Steen credit for, other than probably last year and a little bit the year before, his play started going up. Before that, I think he was a very underrated player and he was good on our team. But fucking now, it's like he's this 35-year-old guy who's just pissy because he's on a shit team. He wants to go play elsewhere and be a competitor, and he's just got a fucking negative attitude. Pietrangelo is fucking, I don't know, boo-boo about God knows what. You get a big-ass contract, and I don't know, maybe he was mad because Backus was the captain. I don't fucking know. There's so many, like...
Bro, I'm telling you, Petrie's just fucking tired because he's got triplets. It's nothing personal.
But that's the easy excuse.
Nah, I mean, I get it, but I'm saying I don't want him on my squad either way. Again, it's nothing personal.
If he's that, okay, I'm gonna say it straight up. Like, yeah, triplets is a hard fucking thing.
Obviously.
But like, if it's causing that much of effect on his hockey game, he cannot be the fucking captain right now.
That's my point.
Yeah,
but
they just
he didn't have
need
the
to
cojones
start
way before the triplets.
They just need to put instead. Hey, how about this? Instead of no trade contracts in some of these players, or no trade clauses, they put like no baby clauses for like 4 years. That should be the thing.
Or again, how about this?
If you have a baby, you're not going to be the captain.
Well, fuck that. Even
I don't know.
Really should be quite the contrary, because fucking keeping a locker room in control is a lot like raising a child, but evidently Pietrangelo has no fucking idea how to do that yet, because the locker room seems... I mean, I know nothing. I don't have the hookups Todd does, but just watching what happens on the ice with the chaos, obviously it's not good in the fucking
funny thing
room.
to me is, though, it's like, yeah, he has triplets at home, but hockey players... they don't spend that much time at home, like during the season, especially when you're traveling.
Yeah, it's like any
no
professional
excuse.
sport.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was more of a joke.
I know.
Again, my main point being that he sucked before that too.
But people are actually using the triplets thing as an excuse, and
right.
it's like, dude, there's at the rink so much, and they're like they're traveling so much that it becomes that's not an excuse.
And you think homegirl doesn't have some help raising the little babies back at home?
Exactly.
Right. I kind of said the same thing about Maroon almost, to where it's like, now that he's home for the first time in a long time to spend time with his kid, I feel like that's become a big priority for him, which I completely understand and respect when you have newborns and you're getting traded around the league You're in and out of cities, away from like when you're your child, and then you get to come back home. I completely understand that. I think that has a little bit of effect on his play, but I also think he's just gotten like content with being in St. Louis.
Well, but it's like at the same time, like what you said though, that he's a hometown guy. Like he's not like Petrangelo, like with all this stuff. Maroon can come home and see whoever he wants. He grew up in fucking Oakville. Like he knows so many people that after games he's gonna go out. After any home game he's gonna go out. Anytime that they're in town after any practice, he's gonna go like he can go see so many like people that he knows. Like you know what I mean? Like he's like, hey, I'm in town. Like I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go there. Blah blah blah. Like the Maroon like kind of like falling like. Kind of not playing like up to speed here in St. Louis totally makes sense. Like I totally understand that. But at the same time, he's another one of those guys who is sticking up for a certain somebody in the locker room and going against leadership and management, which makes it's hard for me to actually hate on Maroon. Like,
see, I have a hard time kind of hating on. I think everybody's at fault this year from. And I'll say it from Tarasenko down to Jake Allen. I think everybody is at complete fault in a way, but the biggest issue is in the last 3 years, our record has gotten worse and worse, but apparently we're getting players that are better and better, which I think we do. So the big issue is, which I've been harping on for years, and I know you have too, Todd, is our system. Our system is so and it comes down to management and the style of hockey they want us to play. And it's like people are bitching about, oh, Hitchcock needs to go. He's not doing things right. Yo needs to go. And it's like, I haven't heard anybody bitch about Berube yet.
Well,
it's like, why? Because I've been saying this for years. It's the system that the Blues are wanting us to play. This fucking old man hockey, this slow-paced bullshit. It started when Tarasenko came up and they're giving him 8 minutes a fucking game and he's supposed to be a superstar? No, you fucking give him 15 minutes a goddamn game. And that's what. And the Blues are so far goddamn behind the rest of this league when it comes to how to play a system of hockey, and they stick to the same old system. They do the same goddamn power play. They do the same forecheck, and it shows that we're just light years behind these teams. You watch them play defense against us, and it's easy. We can't even break a puck out if it's a 5-on-2. Like, it just goes to show. It's like when you're getting better and better players, but you're not getting results, it's because you're not adapting to the new style of system hockey that's coming up. You're trying to make them play that fucking like early 2000s, mid 2000 hockey. That just doesn't fucking work. Well, and Armstrong's just so either he doesn't want to change or he's too blind to what the fuck's going on in the NHL now.
I was kind of just going to combat your point totally before I listened to it all the way through. But I will say that I definitely 100% agree, but as anybody who's gotten my take so far can assume that I'm more of an old school hockey player. But like the most frustrating thing about watching this team is that they're literally just stuck in between.
They're pushovers.
Trying to, like, we were one of the last brawling type of teams, you know, like back when we still had Backus and Reeves and the whole old fucking roster. Like, we had some speed, but every night somebody played us, they knew it didn't matter if they were faster than us because they were getting the shit kicked out of them. Then we kind of just tried to abandon that. Reeves was basically the last of that fucking style, and we tried to move towards this quicker kind of new hockey. But yeah, now we haven't found any type of happy medium whatsoever.
We're always one step behind.
Exactly.
We're always one
they're
step
out
behind.
hitting us, and they're skating faster than us.
Yeah, well,
so,
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but like, also to like kind of my point, how I feel is that even if you watch these teams, like if you watch Tampa Bay play, yeah, they're fast and skilled, and that's how I want to play. But also, when with their skill and stuff, when pucks go in the corner, they have two guys in there grinding it out.
Well, right. I mean, and that's the same thing as the fucking the blue areas, you know. Like we don't even they're not doing anything.
Yeah, and like defensively, it's like, yeah, they got skilled defensemen, but they're playing that physical game. We're not playing any kind of fucking game. We look like we're running drills from practice.
Exactly. Like when a puck hits their net, we have nobody in the fucking crease.
There's nobody crashing.
When a puck hits our net, we have maybe one defenseman who got caught up, and there's usually four of their motherfuckers crashing our fucking crease.
Yep,
and that just shows you the state of the whole game.
And
yeah, I said we're so far behind of like, as much as I want to punch this guy in the mouth every time I see him on the ice, Matthew Tkachuk plays the style of hockey that hockey should be.
Right now. He's Keith's son.
It's skilled, it's fast, and he's and he's gritty as shit. He's a little bit of he's kind of cheap, but I kind of like it. He deserves to get his face knocked in every once in a while, but he's man enough. He'll take that punch. That's the style of hockey that needs to be being played, and that we're seeing. And we're we're not even doing anything. We're running drills. We're fucking running drills and taking water breaks every fucking 3 seconds.
Our play of hockey is so readable. Like like I could play defense against the fucking Blues right now. That's how readable they are.
The lady from Bird Box could play defense against them.
But it's like what you said, Jim. It's like Matthew Tkachuk. Like he's like you hate fucking playing against him, but goddamn, you love him. You would love to have him on your team. And you know what? I'm even going to go another step further than that. I would fucking love to have Tom Wilson on the
team. I would take Tom Wilson on the team.
I'd take him in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah. So would I.
Get some fucking grit, get some fucking aggression on our teams, get somebody to pump up somebody. Tom Wilson wasn't dumb. He went right after our captain was like, "You're not going to do shit." Like,
yeah. It's like Vince Dunn, who I know gets a lot of flack. He's maybe not the greatest defensively right now.
He has a lot of turnovers right now.
He has a lot of turnovers, but like I've told people, he's 22 years old. He'll be fine. He's got, but I love his skill and the way he plays. But he's fucking like what 5'9", 5'10". He's not a big guy, but he gets in there and he'll get gritty. He hustles. He puts effort in. That's all I fucking want to see is effort. His mistakes will get better. He'll learn, but he doesn't give up on plays. Jay Bouwmeester, he fucking. He bobbles the puck and he's like, shit, I'm fucking 35 years old.
He's actually looked pretty decent in the last few games.
You bite your tongue over there.
He has.
I'll come out of this house.
No, I've been.
Well, yeah, that's a few games. How about fucking out of? If he's only played 10 good games out of fucking 80 something.
That's why I haven't gone out of my way and been like, Bouwmeester's actually turned his game around yet, because it's only been 3 games. But in the last 3 games, Bouwmeester's actually looked pretty decent compared to fucking Pietrangelo. Bouwmeester has looked like a fucking god.
Fucking Gunnarsson. It's like we're just so.
I will say a defenseman that has turned his game around recently and has been more physical and been shooting the puck a lot more in what we need, as Colton Parayko is actually turned in. Where is this aggressive side coming from? He's been hitting everything.
Yeah, like I said, I think hopefully somebody banged his girlfriend in front of him. I hope not, but man, fuck, maybe we need to call.
Jim and I have been talking about that forever. I've always just hoped that maybe that's the one good we can take from all this. Parayko's just fucking frustrated.
Parayko's finally turned his game around. He's actually stopped with his turnovers, and he's actually he's
making it simple for himself.
Exactly. He's actually become a consistent fucking defenseman. He's actually being aggressive. He's putting the puck to the net. He's taking slap shots now, which holy shit. A guy who turns the puck over though on our defense that drives me fucking crazy is our goddamn captain, Alex Pietrangelo.
Yep.
Holy shit.
But hey, if he has one good game, everybody's like, oh man, first star of the game. Look how good he did this game. What do you fucking do?
And what about the people ragging on Tarasenko? He has one lazy shift a game, which is just whatever. In hindsight, it's whatever.
Lazy.
What's that?
People that call him lazy have no idea the style of hockey that he plays.
Dude, he creates so much.
He's having the worst plus-minus season he's ever seen. But how about the first 4 years where he was a plus 20, he was a plus 27, he was a plus this and that. 2 years ago he was a -1, which was his worst one until this year. And that, this whole team is bad defensively. You can't trade. We got to get rid of him. He's bad defensively. What about the fucking 17 other guys on the bench that are playing like shit, dude?
So, within the last 4 years, Alexander Ovechkin leads the NHL in the most even strength goals. Up until last week, Tarasenko was number 2. Patrick Kane and Sidney Crosby just passed him. They're both tied. But hey, Tarasenko doesn't score enough, blah, blah, blah. Maybe if you fucking got a team and surround Tarasenko with solid fucking players, I'm sorry, but I'm going to get ragged on for this. Jaden Schwartz is over fucking rated.
He falls down too much.
He does. He's inconsistent.
It's like what TJ Oshie was for us for a couple of years, where he would just fall down every goddamn shift.
Oshie did fall down a lot. But but look at all these other teams and look at their line mates. It's they're nowhere near. You cannot say Braden Shen and Jaden Schwartz are anywhere near these line mates that fucking Crosby, Patrick Kane, and Ovechkin have. Yeah. There's nowhere near that.
But here's the thing: is they could eventually be like that if they just put Tarasenko with a guy and keep him with him. Build chemistry. They should keep him with Schenner. Keep him with O'Reilly. You can't just keep. If they do the same thing over and over on the power play, it doesn't work. So why can't you just do the same thing and keep Tarasenko with a guy and build some fucking chemistry between the two guys? He's not Connor McDavid. I've ranted about this so many times. If Tarasenko puts up 100 points this year and we still don't finish in the playoffs, are people going to be? What are they going to do? Are they going to be happy?
Exactly.
I'll take Tarasenko getting 60 to 80 points his whole career, never win an MVP if our team just fucking competes.
No shit. And then on top of that, it's like, hey, Tarasenko, like, we can't find like that all-star. Why not try like these young kids? Why not put Robert Thomas centering him? Like, let's try that out. Let's just like fucking try it out for one fucking game, see what happens. Because Robert Thomas is a creative motherfucker too.
You mean the guy that's buzzing every fucking shift? No, he's out there getting into the fucking dirty corners, fucking playing tough.
Wait, let me rephrase. Let me go back. Let me even rewind. Other than that, how about Jordan Kyrou? Jordan Kyrou, who scores a goal in his first NHL goal, and what do we do after that game? We send him back down.
Yep.
How do we send him back down after he scores his first NHL goal? Sometimes in the NHL, all it takes is that one goal, and there they go. They're off. That's all it takes. And we send him down? Are you fucking kidding me?
And to the idiots that are like, well, he honestly didn't look that good out there. It's like, because they gave the skilled guy 6 minutes of the fucking game to play,
and not to mention he was playing with like Maroon and Bozak. Like,
yes, it's like when people get on Tarasenko a couple years ago, and I was like, well, because they haven't playing 10 minutes with goddamn Dmitry Yaskin, of course nothing's gonna happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
My God, you have to play him.
Exactly. And it's like, our fourth line right now, hey, I had ripped on Sundqvist. Sundqvist is looking pretty fucking solid. Like, Sundqvist has looked really solid. Barbashev has looked fucking solid. But then here we go. These two players are playing their third center, or their third player on that line. It's always flipping. It's always somebody different. It's like, maybe you guys should just keep like a consistent player with them, and maybe they would produce every game. I don't know.
And everybody was ripping on Barbashev, and I'm like, Barbashev's not playing well because he's playing with guys that can't play up to his game.
Exactly.
His speed. They need to put him with guys that can fuck. Yeah, and nothing against Upshaw, but like he hustled hard every shift. I loved Uppy when he was here. Was he the most skilled guy? Nobody hustled, but he wasn't up to the skill with Barbashev. But look what happens when you put Barbashev with a Thomas or with a fucking Kyrou or with a Sammy Blais or with somebody that can play up to the level and the way they've been playing hockey for the last 5 years through juniors. Holy cow, wow, he's moving his feet. He can make things happen. He doesn't have to worry about making a mistake and covering for goddamn the 32-year-old that can't do shit.
And
And I don't know why I'm getting so mad.
Here's another thing.
You're getting worked up, James.
So we like Magnus Piarvi. This is a guy that like he would show a game of brilliance, like maybe a couple of games of brilliance here and there, and then he'd just be invisible for the next like 10 games, right?
Yeah.
That was Piarvi. Our new Piarvi now is Zach Sanford. Zach Sanford will have a game of brilliance, and then he is just nowhere to be found. Why do we keep giving Zach Sanford minutes? Or why do we keep him up or over Jordan Kyrou or even fucking Jordan Nolan? Jordan Nolan was fucking was a fucking great fourth liner to have, and we send him down. Are you fucking kidding me?
I was so mad about Jordan Nolan because every time I've watched him on a shift, he gets in there, he's actually fairly skilled, but he was almost like an Upshaw Reeves, but I think better, where if there's a puck along the boards, he's getting in there, and he's quick and he's big. Yep. He's like a Berglund. He's like what Berglund should have been with us.
Yep.
And I'm so glad you said that. I was so mad they sent him down. I was like, this guy busts his balls every shift and makes things happen by being physical, and then you send him down to play Sanford. And like you said, it's like you got guys sitting in the minors that are projected and already showed they're better than these guys. Bring them up and play them.
But hey, wait. Here, let me bring it all back full circle now. According to Randy Carricker, we play our young kids. We give our young kids minutes.
Yeah, 7, Randy, you dumbass.
And, like, we play them right away. Like, we don't keep them down in the minors. We started Eric Johnson.
Oh God, that makes me laugh.
No shit, dude. And it's just like
promising.
Randy Character is such a yes man for like just St. Louis sports. Yes, that's exactly what happens. Yes, like yeah, hey Randy, yeah, you have great sports knowledge. That's great. You can win that 4-minute trivia game that you play on your show. That's great. Yeah, we play that against you. Whatever. But other than that, you're nothing but a fucking yes man. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm just done. Like. I'm done with this fucking bullshit media we have here in St. Louis. I'm completely over it. And it's like, and just all that shit. Randy Carricker, was the one thing that we got into over the summer. Randy and I was just like, I said, the Blues never play their young guns. He's like, what are you talking about? We always play them. We always give them minutes. It's like, no, we don't. We keep them in the minors for fucking 3 years and kill their confidence. And then when we bring them up, they're an AHL player now because that's what they're used to. You fucking idiot.
Or we bring him up and we put him with the 33-year-old veteran that we got in the off season.
No shit, yeah.
Like, it's not that hard. They need to stop. Yes, part of the issue is the players, but at the same time, if you're watching the Blues and you're honestly thinking their system is fine or it's up to par with what goes on in this league, you're bird boxing the game because that must be what, like you said, either Randy just doesn't want to admit the truth because he can't or whatever.
Dude, he's getting paid. He's getting paid.
Or he just doesn't fucking understand hockey because if you watch this team, you watch their system, you watch what they're doing, it makes no sense with the skilled players we got. We play this East-West game and we should be playing North-South. Like, it's that goddamn simple.
I think Randy understands the game as a casual fan. Don't get me wrong. I think he gets it. But he's not going to come out and straight up say all this shit because that's what I get. He's getting paid by ESPN 101. But ESPN 101 is sponsored by the St. Louis Blues, and those radio stations sponsor the Blues, and the Point sponsor the Blues, and they're all owned by Hubbard Radio, which it's like, it's all this big, like, fucking, it's there, like this fucking circle, and they're all connected, and of course he's not going to come out and fucking say all the issues and shit, which I understand, but, like, it gets to a point where it's like, enough is enough, and this is where I'm at as a fan right now. Enough is enough. And I am grateful to have this source give me this shit because it just proves my point that I'm not losing my fucking mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so there, and it's just like, how is the media not saying this shit? How are we just letting it all go? How are we just, like, sitting there just saying, oh, it's fine. It's like that meme with the dog burning in the house, and it's like, this is fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what's
that's ESPN 101. That's your media. That's St. Louis media right there. It's fine. Nothing's wrong.
Well, and it's easy for them to go out and like blame like one player, like a Tarasenko or like or a Shen or Jake Allen to be like, oh yeah, I'll just put the blame on one player. People will buy it. Let's do that. It's like, no, man. Like,
that's the easiest thing to do is to blame the all-star, to blame the goalie. I am done sticking up for Allen. No, Allen has not looked good at all this year. Like, he is not. And I hate blaming the goalie, and I'm not all blaming the goalie. He should have some of these goals back this year.
Yeah, well, it gets to a point where like you look at it and you're like, all right, something needs to change a little bit. I don't know. Maybe what I'm saying isn't the right answer, but I'll put my answer up against 100% of the media. But
if Binnington's going to become our starting goalie, that means in a year and a half, 2 years, the crowd, they're just going to flip on him now. Like, that's what we do. Like, we just run them out. And, like, whoever's our backup at the time ends up always outperforming our starter. It's been happening for the last, 8 years. Like, yeah.
Well, and it's Doug's fault for coming into this season with Allen and then not having a solid backup goalie.
Yeah, no shit. And that's another thing. It's like, how can you say Doug Armstrong has actually done a great job? How do we not have a proper backup goalie? Like, sure, granted, Binnington has looked pretty decent since he's been caught up. He got that one shutout. We'll see if he starts tomorrow. We'll see what he does against Montreal. But it's like, how do we not have a solid backup right now? Like, that's ridiculous, and that's on Armstrong. That's on nobody else but Armstrong. And these players. And okay, that's what I wanted to bring up. So what we brought up earlier. Hitchcock, Yo, and now Berube. You look at all these coaches, the Blues play the exact same style since Hitchcock was here. It's the exact same style of hockey, defense, everything. Everything is the exact same. Power play, penalty kill, offense. Everything that the Blues do is the exact same since Hitchcock was here. maybe, just maybe, it's not the coaches, it's your fucking general manager overstepping coaching decisions. Has anybody ever thought about that? Like,
yep. That's what I've been saying. It's fucking simple. It's their system and style of hockey that's not up to par with what goes on in the league. It's clear as goddamn day.
It's right there in front of our faces, and the media is afraid to fucking say that because they're getting paid by the Blues, because that's their sponsor. They're sponsoring that, and they don't want to lose that. And as a business thing, I totally understand and see that. But we're not getting paid by the Blues, and we're not a sponsor of the Blues. So we're going to call that shit out, and we're going to tell you exactly how it is.
Speak the truth.
Yep.
And we're not former NHL players, so again, we're gonna fucking speak the truth. Like,
Jim is a once could have been possibly former NHL player.
I mean, I've shared the ice with a few NHLers. I'm not gonna, I don't know, a Tyler Toffoli, a Jeff Skinner. I don't know.
Here come the humbles.
here come the names.
A Devontae Smith-Pelly. I don't know.
If it makes you,
Jim,
if
come
it
on,
makes you,
really, dude.
If it makes you feel any better, Jim, I played a game with Brady Tkachuk on my line, and then I also almost fought Pat Maroon in the game, but I was like, I'm gonna get eaten, but I'm trying to draw the penalty, so like I could be a better captain than Pietrangelo because I'm not. It's like I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked, but at least I'm going up to him.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize how much I didn't realize how much I needed to get off my chest being cooped up in this damn fucking chicken pen.
Told you, man. This Blues rant has been coming for a while, and I think in this past week the Randy Carricker thing for me was like, this is happening this week. We're getting this going. Like, no more sitting back. Maybe this. What were you gonna say?
I was saying maybe we just go down to the Enterprise with a couple megaphones and just start yelling all this stuff.
CM Punk it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. I don't know. That's what I have to do to get these fans to realize to quit blaming individuals on this team. Start looking at what the fuck's going on.
Hopefully, we get a couple of NHL current players listening to this, and they're like, "Yeah, fucking, let's go! Like, let's fucking go! Let's go kick Doug Armstrong's ass."
Yeah, hopefully.
That's a guy. Doug Armstrong is literally a guy. I just look at him like, man, I just want to punch you in the face, like.
Yeah, he's like that kid from the Peter Pan commercial back in the day, that little fucking redhead, weirdo, freckled kid that was just annoying as shit.
He needs to be fired. He needs to be fired. And, like, Tom Stillman on 101 was saying that he stands by Armstrong. And it's not like, you know, even if that's true to a point, Tom Stillman's not going to go on the radio station and just be like, yeah, I fucking hate him. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's so dumb. Like, people are like, yeah, well, he stands by Army, so he must go too. It's like, no, he's not going to fucking just come out on the radio station and say, like, and shit on everybody. Like, holy fuck. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's what it is. That's all I got from my Blues rant, man.
That's all I got. I got about everything out I wanted to say.
Man, like, my whole Blues rant is mostly just on their fucking management. Like, I just don't trust anybody. I don't.
Yeah, it's management and system of hockey. It's the management or style of hockey. That's what it is, man. It's fucking simple. It's not goddamn rocket science. So
wait, is that actually on there?
Yeah, that's a sticker, buddy. Read it.
I see it.
Oh,
did you put this on there?
Yeah, we got stickers made. Corey just pulled out the fucking gritty sticker. We put some stickers on the Busch Lights and Busch Lattes in the fridge.
I didn't know if that was like a
Claudius.
promotion they were doing, or you did this yourself.
Oh,
that was amazing.
Katie got those stickers made to go scare. Claudius is apparently scared of them.
Why don't we have offended stickers yet, too?
I don't know. We'll get them. Maybe we'll get them made. No big deal. But yeah, I mean, just in short, Doug Armstrong is a cancer, needs to go. Pietrangelo is a cancer, needs to go. And Alexander Steen is a cancer, needs to go. Which I want to rewind to last year when everybody thought that, like, Steen and Pietrangelo were against each other. That was completely incorrect. They're together. Steen was going at the entire locker room last year for, like, he's been holding a grudge against the entire locker room for not voting him as captain. Like, that's, like, the thing that's, like, got misconstrued with the media. Steen was never against Pietrangelo. They're boys. Steen was against the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a pussy. Mm-hmm. He's a Swedish pussy.
Yep. Yep. All right. Does anybody have any last words in terms of hockey for the Blues? Maybe.
I know earlier I said the Blues aren't going to make the playoffs, and I still 98% believe that, but I still am hopeful that they make a run at it. I know they're close, but I don't know unless we see a change.
I will say this: I think the Blues are going to make the playoffs. That's my hot take.
I hope.
I think the Blues will make the playoffs. I think they're going to make a wild card spot because it's crazy what's crazy about this whole fucking thing is that we have 38 points. And on paper it looks horrible. But we're 8 points out of a fucking playoff spot in the wild card position. That's to me it's kind of holy shit. We're right there. And with so much hockey we played, we came back from worse than this in 2009 after the All-Star break. It was way worse than this. And, we came back from this after we traded Shattenkirk away. Oh, by the way, Alexander Pietrangelo, Shattenkirk 2.0. That's all I'm going to say. We traded Shattenkirk away at the trade deadline, and we were not in a playoff position. We came back, made it a playoff position. Not only did we make playoff position, but we fucking, got third in the division, I think. It wasn't even a wild card spot. There's just so much that can happen. There's so much that can happen. And what's weird to me, and I'm not getting my hopes up whatsoever when I say this. What's weird to me is that how identical this season is to when the LA Kings won the Stanley Cup that year.
That's true.
It's identical. And the LA Kings went on a tear in their last 19 games. They went 17-2 in their last 19 games. That they went on a tear, won those games, and they were just unbeatable in the playoffs because they were on fire. Plain simple, they were on fire. And the Blues could easily do that. I'm just not getting my hopes up. But this is so. It's just weird to me how identical this season is to that LA Kings team. And people are like, but they had a determining factor, Jonathan Quick. And I'm like, yeah, nobody talks about Jonathan Quick until after that playoff run. Nobody knew who Jonathan Quick was.
That's how it became relevant.
Yeah. Nobody knew who Jonathan Quick was until that playoff run. So maybe Jordan Biddington maybe could be our Jonathan Quick. I'm not saying that he is. Maybe he is. Maybe Jake Allen just goes on a fucking tear. Who fucking knows? There's a lot of hockey left. That's all I gotta say. There's a lot of hockey left.
I like the outlook. Yeah. I'm a little more pessimistic.
Oh, dude. I'm so pessimistic right now, though. That's a positive outlook for me. That's so hard to fucking say with Doug Armstrong as our GM.
I mean, I was going to say, I feel like that's just my absolute last thing. We have basically run the gamut, but as we've all came to the same point, it's the only logical point you can get to if you're actually paying attention, which is when you've switched up every other variable and the constant's been the constant, then, it's,
I think it's clear as day what the issue is, but according to a lot of these fans, Tarasenko's the biggest issue.
Yeah, see, and a lot of these fans, no offense to any of you guys, I love you all, but just so many people just don't even think past the people on the ice.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about the fucking front office.
Well, and it's not only that. They're look at how much Tarasenko back checks this year.
It's almost infuriating. That was my point about how Pietrangelo, why wouldn't we just give it? Like you were talking about Ovechkin earlier. Okay, yeah, he's not the best banger, but he's literally out there working the hardest. That's exactly why Pietrangelo needs to be the captain. He's not only the most skilled, again, O'Reilly aside, but he's worked his way up in the organization, and he's shown the most fucking passion.
Hey, since we're at the end of the episode, I'm just going to let in a little thing here from the source that I got, because I'm trying to hold back. I'm trying to hold back. I can't help it. Doug Armstrong apparently told Tarasenko to not play the style of hockey that Alexander Ovechkin plays, just in case if it hurts his trade value.
Not surprised.
Yeah, and also you're literally telling a Russian not to be a Russian. Yeah. That's fucking in their genetics. Well,
you're literally telling a guy not to play the way of hockey.
Don't work as hard as you've been taught to work your whole life.
Which I think is hilarious. What's that, Jim?
I was going to say, don't play the style of hockey that got you to the NHL.
Right.
Like
that made you successful to this point.
Right.
Like, hey, I know you got a degree to be like a mechanical engineer, and you're at a mechanical engineering job right now, but what I want you to do is I want you to, like, get into sales.
Yeah, go drive the dump truck.
Yeah. And all these people that want to say, oh, that's bullshit, hey, do yourself a favor, go look up the stats and his hits that Tarasenko's had over the last few years and look at this year. It's night and day.
Well,
it's night and fucking day.
Did they not do basically the same exact thing with Revo, which... I mean, I guess I can see it a little bit more, but I was still always infuriated by that. I heard back in the day they essentially told him the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't be such a banger. You got to become a little bit more of a skilled player. Mm-hmm. Which, of course, couldn't hurt his game, but look what they did with him in Pittsburgh and where they've had success in fucking Vegas. Because he plays his role.
Yep.
What they did with him is that, like, they actually didn't realize that, like, hey, Revo's working really hard to get skill, and instead of just making him solely a skill player, let him bang bodies, and then when he bangs the body and gets the puck, guess what? His skill's going to kick in.
Bingo.
And they just wanted to take all of that away. If they would have let him play the game he's been playing since he left, he'd still fucking be here. I'd want him on the team. You kidding me?
I've always wanted Reeves on the fucking power play and stand in front of the net. He would do a better job than fucking Maroon has.
It's pretty eerie, gentlemen, but this all really comes back to the you can connect this back to the AEW.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, look at Corey.
I know. I like it.
You know, the Blues are being the fucking WWE right now, and we want our goddamn creative control over the process. You got to let these fuckers be who they are, not try to force them to be somebody else.
It's kind of like I know you're kind of into soccer, like. Manchester United, they fired their coach.
Shout out Amsterdam Tavern. I'm a little bit into it.
They fired Mourinho, their coach, and Mourinho has been known to kind of put a stranglehold like on these players and their creativity.
Exactly.
And the minute they fire him, they have been on fire, and they won their next game like 6-1 because they're playing creatively and they're not doing these drawn up plays.
Liberated.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, Doug Armstrong, maybe. Fucking sit your dumbass, bald ass down and let these players fucking play. And like, Tarasenko is fucking night and day. And some people may want to say it's his shoulder still, which maybe it very well could be. His shoulder, that shoulder injury that Tarasenko had normally takes players like fucking like takes like athletes like anywhere between 10 to 12 months to recover from fully. Tarasenko came back within 6.
Right.
Like. If he came back and he's still feeling it, then it shows. But at the same time, did Doug Armstrong tell him to not play that style of hockey because he doesn't want to get hurt his shoulder again? Is Doug Armstrong trying to protect Tarasenko? Highly doubt it.
His value.
But at the same time, it's like Tarasenko used to always like kind of be like a little aggressive. And like it isn't just fucking night and day. And again, another thing that the source that I've gotten from hasn't been wrong about. It fits everything that I've gotten is just all pieced together perfectly. Everything is pieced together with no questions asked.
Here's the best way to sum this up.
What's that?
The best way to sum this up.
Best way to
Viva la revolution. Yeah. We need a motherfucking revolution.
Yeah. And offended, we're jumping it.
Yeah.
Jump starting it.
Amen.
That's what we're doing.
All right. Well, yeah, that basically covers it for our hockey talks here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to our show, especially you Blues fans. I know it's probably rough to fucking listen to.
We appreciate the therapy.
Yeah. Holy shitballs. Well, anyway, you can go follow Offended on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Periscope at OffendedPod. Make sure to go follow the people that make this all happen, PWP Nation, at PWP Nation, all those social media platforms as well. You can go listen to our podcast, Offended, which is on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, and wherever you get your podcasts by searching Offended. On Apple Podcasts, you have to search PWP Nation Network, and we come right up there. New episodes every Friday. Make sure to go buy our t-shirt at www.prowrestlingtees.com, and when you're there, search Offended. Come right up. Periscope show, our wrap-up. Jim, it comes down to you, man, when we can make that return. But
it's all in my butt.
If you guys played that Royal Rumble pool last year, spoiler alert, it's back. but this time for 2 matches, $10 buy-in for each match. You have a chance to win $300. Message me for more details. And if you like music, go on Spotify and listen to our playlist at Offended Presents Songs of the Week. All right, and you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Trick1042. You can follow Stoutsy at
Jimmy James 9417 on Instagram and Twitter. James V Stout on Snapchat.
All right, Corey.
Insta Snap CORDOE 75. Last time I didn't throw it in, but we'll throw in that Twitter because it's just a dope handle. Crunchy Blowfish 75.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's hope let's hope management fucking smarts up here a little bit. I'm not holding my breath. But anyway, this has been Hockey Talks presented by Offended, powered by PWP Nation. We'll see you guys soon.